Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me and happy Monday. Listen, it's boiling hot. That's all I'm going to say. You know how I feel about that. So today, what I thought I would do is use the Colourpop Malibu Barbie eyeshadow palette. I bought this whole collection and haven't used it yet, so I thought why not use the palette? And I have a lip product as well. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to use some liner as well from Split Liner. I bought all of them in like a crazy, like, I don't want to miss out. So I bought them all and some brushes from them. So we're going to use those. If this is your first time joining me here, I tell my subscribers ghost stories on Mondays that they send what side? Any side. They send to this email address. You can send them as a normal email, a video, an audio story. Completely up to you. Send them right there to that email and I will get round to reading them at some point. And that is what we are doing today. Ghost stories, aliens, weird people. Who else is weird? I don't know. Government. No, I don't do conspiracies. I don't get it. And I do a look designed around A Way to Die. Here's what I'm going to do. I know this is a Barbie collection, but the inspiration for today's look is like, I'm like a doll that was released in like, I don't know, the 80s trying to like be Barbie's competitor, and then everyone just forgot about me, and I kept putting on more and more makeup to be like, buy me, look at me, and then no one did, and I died from, I don't know, recycling. I don't know what you do with old toys, but that's how I died. Oh, I haven't even cracked my eyelids. Oh. I'm behind today, let me tell you. I'm having a bit of a rough one. So let's do it. Let's dive into this palette. It looks really cute. So let's go ahead and get into our first story, and it's called Unexplained Phenomena. It says, "Hi Robert, thanks for bringing your ghost segment to our lives. My pleasure, I love it. I really enjoy it very much, even though I'm scared for the rest of the week." Me too. I'm from Colombia, and I live in Kissimmee, Florida, USA. This is not a ghost story. Instead, it's a weird phenomenon my husband and I watched today while enjoying the sunset. We were in our backyard having some drinks and enjoying our nice Florida weather when we noticed a condensation trail in the sky. These trails are very common in our skies since we live close to the airport. However, this one was very different from the others. It seemed like the condensation trail started from a cloud just above it and was falling down. It took us a moment to process what was going on, and we tried to give a reasonable explanation, but unfortunately we couldn't find one. As you can see in the picture, it looks like something came from outer space and entered through that cloud. Please notice there is no trail above the cloud. In total awe, we watched the trail going down until it disappeared in the horizon. We were waiting for an explosion or something, but as far as we know, nothing happened. We are very used to watching from home all launches of rockets from Kennedy Space Center, and definitely this wasn't any of that. We watched the launches from our front yard as they go up into the sky. This for sure was totally different. Thank you for taking time to read my story. I'm looking forward to seeing you reading it sometime soon. Thank you so much for sending it in. Listen, first of all, Florida sunsets are stunning. Absolutely, absolutely stunning. I know why you sit up there and watch them. And yeah, being right next to Kennedy Space Center, of course, in Florida, it's big news when there's a launch. Like, we hear about it here in the UK as well. So you would definitely know about it. I would love to know everyone's opinion on what you think that is, or who you... No, that doesn't make sense. Thank you so much for sending that in. Again, you don't have to send in ghost stories. I love seeing weird stuff like this. It's just as creepy, you know. Okay, next up we have an audio story, and this is called "My Friend Saved My Life Years After He Died."
Hi Robert, I just wanted to say I love your videos and really love your ghost stories. Even though one time while I was listening to them in the middle of the night, my giant dogs started barking and snarling at nothing and scared the hell out of me. Anyways, I wanted to share this story with you. When I was younger, I had a friend, Ethan, name changed for privacy reasons, tragically commit suicide in the high school bathroom. He had struggled with bipolar disorder and sadly lost the fight. I've struggled with mental health my whole life and also live with bipolar disorder as well as PTSD. A few years ago, I was struggling to the point that I had decided to take my own life and decided the next day was when I was going to do it. That night, I had a dream of Ethan. I cried and told him that I missed him. I tried to ask him why he had to leave, why he left us all. He only told me that I had to stay, that it was not my turn, it was my time to go, and I had to keep fighting. He gave me a big hug and said goodbye. When I woke up, I had tears on my face, and I knew deep down that Ethan had come to visit me. I knew that I had to keep fighting, if not for me, then for him. That was years ago, and I'm still here. I got more help, and now I feel a lot better. I still struggle sometimes, and on a few occasions when the fight got hard, Ethan came to visit me, to remind me that it's worth it to keep fighting. I truly believe that it was actually Ethan's spirit coming to guide me, to tell me to stay, and I truly believe that he saved my life years after he was gone. I love your videos and hope to hear this story in one soon. I want everyone who hears this to know that even when you feel alone or like giving up, to keep fighting. Please stay. It's worth it to seek help, and who knows, maybe you have a cheerleader that's no longer in this world cheering you on.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that story. That was very emotional. First of all, I'm happy you're in a better place. That's such a nice message, and I really do think your friend came to help you out. That's such a sweet story. Thank you so much. Oh, we have Marcus straight up already. So, as is custom, while I tidy this up, we have Marcus reading us 2 stories. Marcus, please.
This first story is called Shapeshifter in the Woods. Hey Robert, hopefully this interests you. I haven't told this to many people. I want to start off by saying I'm someone that doesn't really believe in ghosts or the supernatural. I'm more of a I wish they were real, but I haven't had enough experience to completely believe type of person. However, there was something that happened to me in middle school that I just cannot explain. I ran with my middle school cross-country team, and we would frequently run on trails in the woods behind the school. While we were running in the woods one day, a group of girls got separated from the rest of the group. I volunteered to run back along the trail alone and try to meet up with them so they didn't get lost, since there were trails that branched off from the main trail. As I was backtracking, I heard a movement in the woods, running alongside me, off the trail. When I looked over, I saw a boy that looked about my age running next to me. It was as clear as day, and even now I remember exactly what he was wearing. A blue t-shirt and basketball shorts with a silver line running down the side. I was wondering if he was on the cross-country team, but he was just too far away to recognise. Right before I was going to call out to him, he turned into a deer. It sounds absolutely batshit insane, but I was sure he was as real as someone standing right in front of me. I tried to run to keep up with him, but the deer was faster than me and got away. Even now, as someone who isn't really a believer, I can't discount what I saw with my own eyes, and to this day I have no idea what that was. This second story is called It Shapeshifted into My Husband. Hi Robert, I've been wanting to share this story with you since you started these videos, and I hope, reading it, that you can feel even a small bit of what I felt when it happened. This happened about 4 years ago and still has me terrified. I've been an insomniac since I was a child, and my husband's snoring has only made my sleep issues worse. So one night, at around 2 a.m, I was out of my living room sofa watching some TV when I heard my then 4-year-old son wake up whimpering. This wasn't unusual for him, as he's always been a bit needy at night. Just as I was standing up to go comfort him, I saw my husband round the hallway and head into our son's room. My husband can be a bit less patient, so I called after him, "I've got it, you can go back to bed." I was only a few feet behind him when he went out of my sight into our son's room. As I walked in, I saw my son sitting up. I surveyed the room, and my husband wasn't there. I had just seen him walking in his boxer shorts with his hands clasped in front of him like he was cold. I can still picture it so clearly. My face went hot and I ran back to my bedroom to see my husband sound asleep. That in itself was terrifying, but the night wasn't over. After getting my son back to sleep, I went back to the living room, and this time I flicked on a lamp by the sofa. I was even more awake at this point and kept trying to explain to myself what had just happened. Around 5 a.m, I was getting tired and I decided to get back into bed, but first I needed to turn out the light. This lamp was on the table in front of a huge mirror, and the only other source of light was from the kitchen stove. I turned the lamp off, and for about 2 seconds everything seemed normal, and had it not moved, I wouldn't have noticed the enormous black mass standing behind me. It filled up the entire mirror, and I only noticed it when, after a second or two, I watched it go from completely black behind me to being able to see my wall and the pictures on it. I ran to my kids' room and made them both come and get into our bed with us. To this day, I don't know what that was in my house that night, but I still feel nauseous when I think about it. Water. I hope you enjoyed those stories. Goodbye from me for another day.
Well, a strange ending to a strange story. We had a bit of a shape-shifting theme this week there. Listen, shape-shifting, doppelgangers, all terrifying. And that, when you said like clenching his hands and leaning over, that kind of posture is scary. Although they terrify me, like the idea of it, I would love to be able to shapeshift, wouldn't you? Okay, we'll finish up the eyes in a little bit. I'm just going to carry on my skin. And we have our next story. My dog, my protector. Ooh. Oh no. Okay. It says, "Hi Robert, thank you for all that you teach us and share with us. Also, I never get tired of a purple eye." Looks good. Ooh. My story is about my dog, but don't worry, it isn't a sad one. Good, I've started tearing up already because I'm worried. I adopted her a few years ago and she is so goofy, energetic and lovable to the point that I can't even have company because she wants to jump up and hug on everyone she meets. She loves people and anytime I call out her name, she comes running as fast as she can. She's a big dog, but will still jump up in my lap as if she was small. I have truly never met anyone so full of love and energy as her. I always think that she will outgrow this hyper and silly stage, but even her vet says since she is 4 years old now and still acts this way, she will likely always have this puppy personality. Of course, she has always been protective, as most dogs are, and sleeps next to me in my bed. I live alone, so it's just us in the house. Now the creepy part. One night, while sleeping in my bedroom, something woke me up, but I wasn't sure what. I opened my eyes and saw my dog staring at my locked bedroom door. She was not moving. She was standing completely still and silent, her tail up, and her eyes would not look away from the door. The house was completely silent. I called her name, and she just would not look my way. She just continued staring at the door. It really freaked me out, because she is normally so excited to hear my voice and would want to jump right back on the bed with me. I have never seen her so serious or still in all the time that I've had her, and she stayed in that position for at least a full minute or longer before she lay down right next to the door. Still not returning to the bed, I eventually fell back asleep, as I was definitely not going to open the door to see what was on the other side. I live alone, so there should not have been anyone else around for her to hear or sense. I never did find out what it was that upset her that night, and it has never happened again. But I sleep better knowing that even if something or someone was out there on the other side of my door, that my dog is there to protect me. Because she stood there for so long, I was able to take a photo to share with you. Thank you for reading my story. Have the best day. Thank you so much. Yeah, dogs are pretty crazy. There's this thing about dogs, and when they stare for ages, and it's like you're not meant to be doing that. That's not what you usually do. And I feel like you can easily tell as well when your dog's like just a little bit distracted because, you know, they're watching like a bug, or they want to eat something, or they're, you know, hunting, not hunting, like, you know, like stalking something, versus whether they're like being a little bit protective or they're a little bit creeped out, you know. Well, thank you so much for joining me. This is the finished Desperate Barbie trying to get sold, trying to get someone to buy her for attention look. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me. All the products I use today will be linked down below for you. Don't forget to send your stories right here. Tag me in scary things on TikTok, RobertWLSH, MUA. Yeah, thank you so much again, and I will see you in 2 weeks' time for more ghost stories. Bye.